Did they start the stream? That's the question. Did you start or not? Tell me. Let me listen to this stream. Did you start? Yes, amazing. Here. Oh, looks like you started in YouTube too. Good. Good, 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 good. Now I can close this. And go to our regular stuff. Oh, did it actually start the YouTube stream? Like, excellent connection. I mean, I guess it's going. Who knows? Let's go, let's go, let's go. Close this. Okie dokie. Yeah, maybe we should post it on somewhere here. Live stream. Live stream. Pouring. Or white lamp to Ruby. And we can start say something like with DeepSeek v3. Yeah, and we can share. How do we share? Back to channel. Oh my god. Creator dashboard. Channel. Good enough. Let's stream. Okay, let's go. So today is going to be interesting. The idea that I have is, or not the idea, the problem that I'm trying to solve here is in Ruby on Rails. Ruby is an amazing framework, right? Or Rails is an amazing framework. And I like it. We work with LLMs a lot, or like at my job, and not necessarily just my job, right? My hobby projects. But there's like this problem where I'm trying to evaluate LLMs and kind of like choose the best one. And this is where Ruby kind of lacks the toolkit. And I'm specifically looking for something that I can quickly swap LLMs, right? Where I can have the same prompt, the same inputs, and just call a different LLM for this. And Python has this light LLM, which is amazing, right? It kind of allows you to use OpenAI interface with the same content role and everything, and you just swap out the LLMs on the go, and it's ready, right? So the cost of switching different models in production is relatively cheap as long as you have evaluations, right? But the evaluations, I mean, like just tests that make sure that everything works as you expect. And Ruby doesn't have anything like that. I mean, there was some attempts to do that, but most of them are half-baked and people just abandon them, and the interface is not as good. So today I'm going to start working on this Ruby gem, and I already come up with a name for it. I obviously asked AI, and then I actually had my idea. Like the AI came up with LLM Hub. I was like, LLM Hub is fine, but what about a one LLM? And we're probably going to call it one LLM because I liked it more. And then the description, I actually like this one, a unified interface for all LLM providers. One gem to rule them all. Amazing. It's going to be a public repo, README. We're going to be a Ruby license, probably MIT. I don't think we need anything fancy today. And now I need to copy this to my local host. So I'm going to go to code here, and I'm going to say gh repo clone one LLM. And we're going to clone it locally. And now we need to start creating a gem. It's been a while since I created the gem. So I'll just ask Perplexity how to create a gem in Ruby. Yeah. And it will probably be something like gem init or something, but maybe there are better tools at this point, so I'm not sure. Gem install bundler, bundler gem, my gem name. Yeah, it creates a folder and stuff like that. Okay. So it's bundler, right? Gem build, gem sign. Okay, let's do that. So bundle gem one LLM. I think it's gonna complain. Don't want to regenerate test within the gem. Test framework. I want RSpec. I don't like test, mini test. Calls to potential GitHub. Oh, sure, GitHub, of course, man. MIT, yes, please. Codes of conduct. Yeah, let's do something. Don't include changelog, of course. And a linter, we're gonna go with Rubocop. And readme, yeah, sure, override it. Yeah, sure, override it. Good. I didn't know that it actually creates all of this, which is amazing. Okay, so now we have our new brand new gem, and I think we start with gem spec. We're gonna go here and this is my GitHub email. It's nice that I have it here. Summary. So we're gonna just copy the summary from here. It's just basic stuff. A unified interface. One gem to rule them all. Description. I think it's gonna be the same thing. Homepage. I'm gonna use this thing as our homepage. MIT, Ruby, blah blah. Amazing. Atom Kuzmenko. That sounds good. Allowed push hosts. Yeah, that's probably gonna be later. I have no idea. Source code URI. Okay, I think this is this thing, right? Changelog URI. Okay, so because it's going to be like a changelog, right? So basically this thing plus like changelog. So I'll do this, and then we'll do something like this. And this is going to be our changelog URI, right? I don't know, maybe they expect like a raw link or raw URI to here, but I have no idea. We'll see later. This is fine. We're gonna keep that. Okay, I think we're done with the semantics of it, and I'll commit all of this crap as is and just shove it to prod. Initial commit. Okay. Initial commit v2. Okay, that's good. Now if I refresh it, we should be able to see a better something. Okay, amazing. Now that's good. I didn't know that it actually comes up with some workflow, which is kind of cool. 3 to 2. Okay. And yeah, let's start. So one LLM. Oh, by the way, I wanted to review the ignore file first. What do we have here? Bundle yard, your dog. Okay, all good. So what we're doing here is we're going to copy this Python package that we have here, and we're going to recreate it in Ruby. I like the way it describes everything, so we can just, I guess, yeah, we can just put it. So what I like to do at the beginning, because I'm going to be working with an LLM, I like to create like up or like, yeah, up.md, and I'll put it here. And we're going to call it Ruby SDK to call HANA Plus LLM API in OpenAI format, right? This is all we do, basically. And I'll also like to give here a little bit of example. So, because I'll add it to the context to every prompt that I work with LLM, it's just going to be useful. So response format. Okay, so I need a response format. This is amazing. And we're going to call it response format like this, response format. I think it's going to be useful. This is JSON, right? I mean, it looks like JSON. And then, or actually, we don't have to use JSON. We can say it's Ruby because it's technically about Ruby, right? Except for null, right? We need to replace null with like nil or something. Okay. Response format. And then here we need some very basic example of how to use our API. And I think we need to come up with like a beautiful interface, or a very simple interface, I must say. So here we're gonna say Ruby and Ruby. And we're gonna actually start working with DeepSeek for this, right? So I can tell it that, or to be honest, maybe we should just put it in README. Installation, bundle update, blah, blah, all this crap. Yeah, I don't think we need that. So we're gonna just start with this app.md, and we can say I'm using DeepSeek today, so let's see how it does, how well it does. I'm porting this light LLM library from Python to Ruby. And can you please create a beautiful, simple to use interface using like in Ruby? So the idea is that it shouldn't be looking exactly like a Python version. It should feel native for Ruby developer, for experienced Ruby developer. Think very carefully and give me multiple suggestions. So I wanted to see multiple different interfaces that we can use, and I'll choose the best one. All right, so I just asked it to do a couple stuff, and my prompt has some special sauce to do this thinking process, and then let's review what it came up with. So class-based configuration, light LLM. For some reason, it calls it light LLM. That's fine. Light LLM client, this client thing. Not sure I'm a big fan of it. Or DSL style. Okay, so we have this. Okay, this is horrible. I don't like this DSL style. No, we're not gonna do that. Module based with global configuration. Okay, let's see. So not a big fan of this. Well, this is actually, not gonna lie, looks very simple. So we can combine like the first approach where we have a client, but by default, you don't have to use the client. You can just use this and it'll work just fine, which I like very much. And the last one, build pattern with fluent interface. No, I don't like fluent interfaces. Okay, so I like the first, which is the very first one. This is good, right? So this part is kind of nice. I like the first example that you gave me, and I like wait, which one also do I like? Third, I think, right? Third. I really like the first example that you gave me and the third example. So I actually want both of them to be provided by this gem that I'm creating. Can you give me an example that combines both of them? So the user can use either one or the second, right? And I mean, obviously I can do it by my hand, but I'm just, oh, whoa, 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 it started implemented it. Jesus. No, 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 no. This is not what I was asking for, but I like this, right? So we have this by default, right? And then if you want to, you have class-based configuration, and then you can do this. Okay, I don't need none of this crap, so we just need this part. Okay, this is awesome. So we have this, usage examples, right? And class-based style, advanced, key features. Good, this is all I need. So, okay, so usage examples, and then we have module style, which is kind of like, I don't think we need this. This is good enough. So you configure it, your OpenAI API key, Anthropic API key, and then light LLM. So they call it light LLM. I call it one LLM, right? This is my sauce. I'm gonna rename it everywhere. One. Oh, they actually use like this. Oh, maybe I should do that too. Huh. Like instead of one LLM and with capital, you just use LLM. It's actually easier to type. I kind of like that. So we're gonna go with that. One LLM. Nice. Okay, light LLM. We don't have that anymore. So we have this, right? This looks amazing. And I don't think that we need to repeat ourselves twice. So that's fine. Why do we repeat configuration? Module-based style. I would say we can just create like configuration and then this example, right? Where we give it the configuration. This is like the boring part, or maybe not the boring part. Actually, this is the most fun part where you design the interface for the library. I think this is generally the most fun you will have designing a new library. And I'm not trying to make it beautiful. I'm trying to make it look so that it looks exactly like OpenAI. This is going to be like a low-level library that will allow me to use all LLMs just like OpenAI. with nothing fancy in it. So if you want to, you can take it and you can build something beautiful on top, like a beautiful interface with whatever style you like and prefer, with some niceties. But here we're just trying to create something very basic that will allow me to swap LLMs with minimal to ideally no changes in the code, right? I just give it the different model ID and it works. So that's why we're not trying to create something very beautiful. We're just trying to unite it. And okay, so module, this is like a configuration, module-based style, amazing, class-based style. Okay, so we already removed that. So here we create a client, but the client can also have a default configuration. So this class-based style, okay, but that's fine. We can give it this example later. That's good. Let's see what else do they have. Let me actually open up my channel, create a dashboard. What's happening? Stream manager. Okay. Nobody's writing in chat. That's fine. I'm not looking for much interaction yet. So 1LM. Okay, now what else do they have? They have a streaming interface, right? So for streaming, we can actually use an async gem. And I think we need this example. So I'll take this, and the only difference is stream true, right? And we're going to say module-based, class-based style. And another one that I'll add then is streaming, not style, just will be. And it's not advanced. Why do they call it simple advanced? It's just whatever, different styles. And for streaming, now we're going to start with one LLM complete. It's going to be the same thing. Model, content, hello world user, stream true. Yes, yes, yes. I don't like the way the call responds. I think it's going to be like part. Yeah, it's most likely going to be part. And then choices. So we have choices first, delta, like this, right? Content. So I'm not sure if I'm a fan of like hashes. This is like the only thing that I don't like about it. So I can tell LLM to just fix the examples, and I'll select the code that I wanted to change, and I'll tell it, hey, instead of using Ruby hashes in responses, use we will actually be using objects. So it should be responses dot choices dot first dot messages dot content, for example. Can you update all the examples to make this change, please? And this is where it's just a lot of stupid typing, and LLM can get it right, and it makes a bunch of replacements. I'll just apply all the changes, and yeah. So now it looks like this. Okay, it did the change, I applied it, it looks good. I think I like what I see here, not gonna lie, right? And it's not gonna be Ruby. Okay, I'm just gonna do the JSON now because we have a slightly different interface, just for it to see the example of what we're gonna do here later, because we need to support all of this, right? And I'm not seeing where do we have this information, right? The usage part, but we can figure it out later. I don't think it's gonna be like in the first version of the library. Completion response chunk, login observability. We'll add it later, that's fine. Okay, at this point, I think we're good. Now, what I'm gonna do next is I'm just gonna commit this. I'm gonna say design, or to be honest, we can probably just copy this and go to README and put it here. So one LLM, and we decided that it's gonna be like lowercase, one LLM. To call it the bedrock usage examples, module based, amazing, amazing, class streaming, and then we have response. Not sure what that is. We're gonna keep it here, and then we have installation, right? So usage examples should be this. So we should detract one. Let's remove. Looks good. Okay, now we have installation, and we're gonna add it later. Okay, so we're gonna say something like docs, design the interface for the lib, for the gem, and push that, And now we need to create this file that I like to call LLM Sidekick. This is for my gem that I use in Neovim to code with all of this stuff, and it's going to be very helpful later, and you'll see why now. So I have this configuration file, and it is loaded every time I ask, like I chat with my LLM in Neovim. So made a typo. I can actually fix it by doing this. Okay, and then we'll paste it here. Wrap in Markdown. General information about the project. Yeah. And I actually already called this app, so it's amazing. Design doc, I don't have that. I don't have this. And technologies. I don't think we have the list of technologies, or I don't think we even need this at this point. Maybe I do, like, let's say Ruby 3.2, and that's it. I don't think we'll have any more dependencies here. And that's it. Okay, build guidelines. Oh, this stuff is complicated. I don't know what that is. Do I even need this here? Guidelines sections. Because I created it for future use. Bulletproof. Yeah, okay. I don't think I need this anymore. And we can keep it simple. Build guidelines. Okay, that's actually looking great. If not section disable, no, I'm not going to be disabling sections anymore. So now let me show you what it does. When I open the chat with LLM, and I can do it in many different ways, this is one of them. And if I show you the prompt, you will see in the prompt the guidelines here. So just the guidelines that and this is the app file that I just created with you guys, right? So basically, it adds it to every prompt that I have. And this is type of information that is very important for just understanding of, for an LLM, what are we working at all the time. When I'm working on some features at work, I'll actually have feature.md that I'm obviously not committing to Git, but that I'll just describe the feature that I'm working on, and so that I don't have to repeat myself every single time, like when I talk to the LLM. It's kind of superpower, I must say. So that's done. And you see that it's not in git commit because I added it to my global git ignore. So I have like a global git in my dot files. There's a git ignore file, and I think I have it. Yeah, LM sidekick here. I have a bunch of files here, but so that I don't have to add it to every project. It's just tedious. Okay, at this point we're good to start. So the first API that we want to add is actually OpenAI, and the best way to start is just go to OpenAI docs, like find an example. What I like to do is find a curl example in OpenAI docs or something like this. It'll give me something like this, which is crap, and hopefully API reference. Okay, do they have curl here? Yes, they do. Okay, good. Create chat completion. This is all I need. So just chat completion example, and I need curl because I'm creating it for a language they don't have here, right? If they had Ruby here, why would I do that? But they don't, so I'm just gonna do that. And there's one way to solve this problem is just install a Ruby dependency that was the LLM, but it's like I don't want to do that. It should be dependent less as much as possible, except for maybe Python SDK for Bedrock, unfortunately. But yeah, let's go. So we'll create the first example. Let me actually inspect what files do we have here. I don't think we have much, right? So we have this and that. Okay, that's all we have, right? Cool. So I'm gonna code with this dir. Again, this is a shortcut that I have, and it just adds the context of the entire directory here. And we're gonna say, I just copied this example from OpenAI. Here's an example from the OpenAI documentation. Okay, and I'll ask it to create. I want you to create a first class adapter for OpenAI. Oh, wait. Do we have an interface? Okay, before we do that, I actually need to create an interface for everything that I described in the app.md. So let's just start with that. I'll copy this. We can get back to it later. I want you to create the first class interface for what is described in app.md. And it should follow all the best practices of libraries creation in for Ruby, not libraries, gems, right? And I expect that you will have some questions, but I trust your expertise to fill in the blanks. So think very carefully before you write any code and give me the code. Okay, I'll do some magic sauce. Was like thinking. It's again part of my plugin. And what model are we using? Oh, we're using Sonnet here. No, 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 no. We're not using Sonnet. We're not using Sonnet here. Ah, this is because the way my thing works, right? Yeah, I can just do the same thing here. I can just say LD and then I'll choose the DeepSeek. I was like, why is it so goddamn slow? We're working with DeepSeek today, not Sonnet, not Sonnet. No, 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 no Sonnet today. Okay, one LLM. So we'll create this thing. Oh, we'll replace it with this. Actually, I kind of like what I see maybe. And let's see what it comes up with. Missing top level definition comment for module LLM. That's fine. We can fix that. Actually, I'll show you one feature that I just recently added. I can, with a click of a button, I can just copy like this to basically all the linter errors, and we have this missing top level documentation. So now what I will do is I'll open DeepSeek, I'll give it this, and I was like, can you fix this linter error for me, please? Think carefully. And obviously it's like, oh man, we need to add documentation. And oh yeah, baby, yeah, we apply it. Amazing. That's why I like Neovium. Like it's so easy. I was thinking about adding this feature to my plugin, was like go fix linter errors, but I was like, in Neovium you can just create a shortcut to copy the linter errors and then give it to LLM and basically do the same thing. So let's review what it does. So when you see configuration, what is this configuration? Okay, so we have like a global configuration for this gem. Not sure if it's like, what about threads and shit? So maybe we need to make something better, but we'll see. And then we have yield configuration for configure. Okay, that's cool. And then we have model message stream. I mean, obviously we'll need to add much more than this, but it's a good start. I'm not gonna lie, it's okay. And then we use configuration here. So what happens? Oh, because you modify configuration in place, and because we cache configuration, it's always here, right? And by default, we use the default client basically with default configuration, which is completely fine. I don't have anything against it. One problem that I see is that it used one LLM with big L. What do I have in my AppMD? Okay, so it refuses me, right? And it does this. Did it do it? Oh my god, it did it everywhere, right? Ah, but I didn't have it in my lib, right? I don't think I fixed it in the lib before. So we can actually replace it everywhere. Yeah, let me just do it now quickly. So I'll say cfdo, and then we'll replace one LLM with one LLM, and we're gonna do it everywhere, and we'll just save all the files. So just did that, and let's restart just in case, because my LSP is probably gonna go crazy because of this. And let's go further. Okay, so let's see what it did. The first is the configuration that we just saw, right? Or no, this one, right? Okay, so this is looking great so far. I like it. The version, I don't think it changed that. So let's go to configuration first. Missing top level documentation for configuration. Uncool. Okay, so let's add. Okay, add validation logic for required configuration. Raise configuration if invalid. Okay, that's interesting. So let's add that too, right? We can again do the same thing, do the drill, and we can tell it, can you please fix this linter error? Think very carefully. I'll add some documentation. That's probably going to be fine. There is Ruby somewhere. Okay, so configuration, class from engine API keys. I'll just say API keys, but for now it's probably going to be good enough. And then we describe the attributes that it has, right? Just two for now. Okay, and we'll start. So I want to create something that will just work for OpenAI, and then we'll extend it and add more documentation later. And again, I'll repeat the same thing here. Just want to fix that. Please fix the cylinder error. Think very carefully. Cylinder error. I think I'll figure it out. Yard documentation. Yes, 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 yes. Please give me this yard documentation. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Yes, 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 yes. And then one LLM. All's looking great. OpenAI, GPT-4. Not sure about this like GPT-4 example, but yeah, we can fix it later. That's fine. Okay, okay, okay. Implement the code. Yeah, so here is where we will need to stick a lot of adapters. So that's all the code that it gave me, right? This is all nice and fine. Now, before we actually continue, what I would like to do here is go to the configuration and say, I want you to take the, I want you to fill the diff, I want you to set the default values for every API key from the environment variables. Think very carefully. And I mean, it's a very basic request that should be able to figure it out. And it's like one LLM open API key, one LLM is fetch nil is toward there. So minimal and focused. Well, fine. I don't like the prefix, so I'm just gonna delete that for now. Entropic API key, that's fine. Validate. When do we call validate? I don't think we call it. Or we do call it. When we initialize? What? Oh, when we initialize the client. Yeah. And then we will pass configuration. I think this is fair, right? Add validation. Think very carefully. Think a lot. This think a lot also helps. It's like, yeah. It'll just, give more steps here. And then let's see what it does. So OpenAI format. Is this Anthropic key format? Anthropic API key format. Give me an example of what an Anthropic API key looks like. Okay, SK something, right? I don't know why it did that. I'm not sure if this is even an example. I'm not sure if I even want to validate that, but hey, let's see. That's a lot of validation. Okay, let's see what it did. So validates cyclomatic complexity validates too high. Oh my god, I need to disable this cyclomatic complexity. Who needs that? Okay, so this is obvious. If OpenAI key, valid OpenAI key, valid Anthropic key, blah blah blah. Okay, that's good. Check. I don't think we need these comments. Validates. Okay. How do I disable cyclomatic complexity lint in Rubacop? Think carefully. I don't have a Rubacop YAML file yet, so feel free to create one. And this is something that I would Google before, right? And now I have LLM to just create the file and enable fails, and hopefully it'll disable it if I restart this bad boy. Sign branch condition size is too. Oh, branch condition size for validate is too high. What the hell is even this? Prefer single quoted. Okay. Now, what else do we have? Prefer single quoted, prefer this, prefer single quoted, prefer single quoted, prefer single quoted. Okay, so some of these we can fix, that's fine. But this one is stupid. I want to disable this one too. So let me just copy that. I'm gonna go to Rubacop file, and I'll just wait. I'll just paste this and I'll say, can you disable this stupid metric? Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Amazing, amazing. Now we restart. Oof. Yeah, before that, it was probably a little bit of Googling. Now I'm like, fine. So we have that. I don't think that we need this, to be honest. Or maybe we actually do need it, but it's gonna get very, very complicated at the end, right? That's good. That's looking great. Now, we have this validate errors, and then we join them, raise them. Fine. Not sure about this rule though. This looks legit, but we'll see it later. And what do we raise? When we raise, do we show the... No, okay, so we don't actually show the API key itself, right? Which is amazing. Open API key, that's good. Anthropic API key, that's good. Okay, now at this point with configuration, with basic configuration, I think we're done. And now we can go to the implementation itself. So the client part, right? This is where it'll be a little bit tricky. And let me probably commit this point where I'll say something like, I'll actually commit all of this. And I'll say something like fetch basic configuration for OpenAI. Something like this. And now we need to create the first implementation. And this is where we actually have our example with OpenAI that I'll copy here. But before we do that, I think I want to see or come up with like an adapter interface, something that we can use here to then, yeah. And let's see what AI suggests. I'll start from here actually. Okay, this is where I'll just amend the previous commit because it's like stupid thing. And we'll add all DIRs in our library, like all of them to the context, all files. So all of these files are just added them. They're here. They're in the context, and so I plan to integrate a lot of different API providers. I need to, well, before I actually do that, I think I want to ask the directory, not, yeah. So let me change it a little bit. So I'll ask instead of code. I don't want to code right now. I just want to come up with a concept and basically code design thing because it's going to be a lot of code. I want to get it right. So I will be integrating a lot of API providers, and I'm trying to come up with an interface that will allow me, or abstraction that will allow me to easily adapt both input and output to different providers. So I want you to come up with the most, with the best approaches and best interfaces, abstraction interfaces for these providers. So the first provider that I'm going to be implementing is OpenAI, and then Anthropic, and then 100 more later. So think very carefully, give me multiple options, and I want you, in your thinking, consider all the context that I gave you so far. Good luck. So this is like a vague request. I'm not sure exactly how I was going to come up with this, but multiple M providers, different API formats, unified input output handling links. Okay, given the context, there are concerns the current code base already has a good foundation with client and configuration. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, provider registry pattern. Okay, create a base provider class, register concrete providers, OpenAI, Anthropic, use factory pattern to instantiate correct providers based on model prefix. Each provider handles its own API specifics, handles common functionality. Okay, adapter pattern. Define a standard interface for LLM operations, create adapters for each provider that implements the interface. Client uses the adapter based on model prefix adapters. Okay, strategy pattern. Define strategy. It's pretty much okay. I understand that. That's fine. So based on the requirements and context, I recommend using a combination of the provider register pattern and adapter pattern. Okay, so the first one and the second one. Okay, interesting. Here's why. Provider register pattern gives us clear separation of concerns, easy to add new providers, centralized provider management. Interesting. Okay. Standardized input output handling. Okay, give me an example. Give me an example. Okay, there's a lot of talking. So base provider, one LM provider. Okay, and then we have complete. So basically our very basic non-implementation interface, kind of like an interface. And then provider registry was our providers, right? So prefix provider class. So the prefix is going to be kind of like, prefix is going to be something like in light LLM, right? Where we have OpenAI and then the name of the model, Anthropic and then the name of the model. So I guess this is what the prefix is, right? I hope you're going to give me the class and get provider model split. This is it. So basically our provider is going to be taken from the prefix, and then we're going to have provider class, concrete providers, OpenAI, provider, complete, model message stream. Okay, and then updated client. Yeah, I probably like this the most, right? This is actually how we probably do it, because I was thinking about something that we need to register the providers, sure, and the way to add them. And the second example I was thinking is how to, so that basically you have one class and you given the OpenAI input format and you do whatever you want, but you need to provide like receive OpenAI format and work with that and return OpenAI format, and we don't care about anything else. I don't want to. I don't like a lot of abstractions, to be honest, for this type of things. So this is good so far. And then update the client, provider registry. So provider registry, I'm not sure. Isn't it a global thing? Like, why is it even here? Okay. Well, okay, so I'm not sure why it's in the client. I thought it's gonna be like some global thing. Not sure about the location of this thing, but let's see. So get provider class, new configuration. Okay, so this is how we do it. Okay. This is very simple. And then initialization is going to look like something like this. Okay, so yeah. So it's basically a global thing. Okay. And then we register it here. So it's even better because it's going to be like in the first file. When you open up the library, the first thing that you see is a bunch of like providers, which is probably like the best thing, right? When you want to look at the specific like provider, it's probably why I want to go to the library in the first place. So you open up this file and you see this mumbo jumbo, and then you jump to your provider in question. And not gonna lie, this answer is very good. I am pleasantly surprised. So what I'll do now is I'll just save it to 1.md, this answer, and I'll tell it to implement it. uh, so what I'll do is I will go to library here. I'll open up the chat with the entire project with DeepSeek, and then I'll add my 1.md, and I'll tell it, wait, where did it go? Oh yeah. My God, what did I do? What did I do? No, I think I made a mistake. Yeah, click something. Jesus. Yeah, I'm lost a little bit. Okay, let's add my 1.md, and now I'm like, can you please implement 1.md? Just apply all the suggestion. Jesus, why I cannot say. Apply all the suggestions from 1.md to the code. Think carefully. Oh my God, if only I can just speak. Okay, and I expect I'll just go and bam, provider, good. Registry, good. Yes. And it goes and just creates all of them for me, so I don't have to do it manually. I think this part was missing with requirements, and probably even updated the docs, right? Oh, I didn't have the comments, so it add comments. Yes. Doc strings. That's good. Apply all. Okay, so I just applied all the changes, and I don't think we need 1MD for now, but I'll first review all the changes here. Wait, I don't think it's the right repo. Just gonna open up here. Now let's review the changes. So provider registry, OpenAI provider, good. And OpenAI, so it added OpenAI, amazing, I like that, to the right file. And then provider registry, it's here. Oh, wait, and then one LLM provider registry, and by default, it does this, which I also like, just in case, right? And then I actually would want the configuration to be also here, kind of like you can initialize the client, but by default, it's gonna be like default configuration, so we should also add it here. Would make more sense. And then it replaced the comments with actual implementation, which is like app provider new. Okay, that's good. Added other reader, and this is in the client class. Okay, that's good. I think we need to freeze the providers. I don't think we freeze the provider registry. That's something that we need to do as well. So provider, the default provider complete. Okay, and now our provider registry, provider prefix. So provider's prefix, unsupported provider. So good. Okay. Okay, let's put for OpenAI. When people say that you cannot code with LLMs, I don't know. This code is relatively high quality. Maybe it's not like the best, of course, but it's good. It's good. It's good enough. Okay, now I just need to implement this. Okay, that's good. I kind of like what I see. Let me just quickly go and implement the changes that I wanted to do. Was first the configuration here. Wait, actually in the client here, and we store it in one LM, right? One LM. It's here, so we have configuration, right? This one. So what we're gonna do is, just in case for some reason, if you take the client out of context, I'm gonna go and do this same thing here. One LM configuration, and we're gonna say equal this thing. So you can initialize it with nothing, and that's slightly better. Okay, and we go back. That's good. So let's commit this great success. We're gonna call this the not feature for whatever is like common interface plus provider registry, something like this. Okay, we don't need this anymore. 1MD, I just deleted it, which is good. Okay, how many watching? One viewer, whoever you are, thank you. Okay, now we can implement OpenAI provider, right? So what I'll do here is I'll give it this example, and I will start the DeepSeek chat. I'll add the example here. I'll do this, and I'll tell it, here's an example from the OpenAI documentation, but I would like to use a mini model. It's just cheaper. It makes more sense, right? So it's just mini here. OpenAI key, can you please implement the OpenAI provider? I want you to use native HTTP with no jams, no libraries. We don't introduce any dependencies. Use all the best practices, obviously HTTPS verification, all the timeouts that are needed. And I want you to think very carefully through my request. Think of edge cases before you start implementing. Right? This is why I like speech to text, because this is a lot of typing. Like, this is a lot of typing text. Sure, I type relatively fast. I'm not the fastest. Not like the Primogen or somebody. But my typing is fine. But still, voice is faster. Okay, one LLM. So we're going to replace this net HTTP, URI, JSON, one LLM. And we have API, OpenAI, COM, chat completions, default timeout, max retries. All of this. Okay, it's not looking bad. I need to review that, or we're handling some errors. I don't think that there's like... Yeah, I also need to implement the image input example and the streaming example and the functions example and the long was like structured output. So there was a lot of implementing, but hey, we can write tests first before we do all of this crap. So, and then it says complete. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, now we're gonna test this. So I actually want this to be, don't like this, don't like this, don't like this. I actually want the URL. Actually, let me copy the URL from example here. I actually want the URL to the Open API to be one constant, like this. You can split it later when you create the request. Can you do it for me? I mean, sure, I can do it myself, but fine. Okay, so we have this, and then we'll parse it, and then we say you're a host, you're a port. And if we go back, build, you're a parse, host, build, good. Oh, I didn't know that there's like HTTPS build. Is this even a method? I don't think it exists. Does it exist? No idea. Default timeout, 30 seconds. Open timeout, read timeout. Okay, so first of all, let's use Gemini Flash. Remind me all the different timeouts in net HTTP in Ruby. I think specific timeout for establish a connection to the server. Okay, read timeout for reading data from the server to the server. Man, it's been a while. No, I think I get it right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. I think it's for reading every packet. So, but let me just clarify it. So when reading, let's say this net HTTP, just like this, read timeout and write timeout. Let's just read timeout. Read timeout. Yeah, timeout in net HTTP Ruby. Does read timeout in net HTTP Ruby applies to a single packet or full time or total time of the request? I think it applies to packets and not to the full time of the request, if I'm not mistaken. Applies to the time allowed for reading a single block or chunk of data from the server. Yes, not the total time. Yes. And I don't think there is a way to do it. So you have to use a different library, like a timeout, to do that, the total time. Yeah, so it's for reading a single chunk. Good. I'm not sure it's like if I want default timeout to be 30 seconds for everything. It's like I would say open timeout should be 10 seconds. Yeah, somewhere around 10 seconds. Otherwise, it's just super weird. And then read and write. Okay, sure, maybe 30 seconds. That's fine. Use SSL. Yes. Verify peer. Yes. What do we have? And then we have request, post, configure request. What do we do? Content type, authorization, open API key. Do we have that? Oh yeah, I think we have that. Yeah. We have that configure. But that's no bueno because our provider actually has config, right? Yeah, so they have config here. So we should use config instead. So this is going to be open AI. Where are you? Okay, let's go config here. So we will use here config. Yeah, I didn't give it the context other than just this file, so it fumbled that, but that's fine. Okay, so build payload, model, messages, stream, configure request, handle standard response, request response, streaming response. Would you look at that? I don't think you get that right, but we can stream chunk. Yes, not looking great. And then we pass block, and we pass block. Do we even call the block here? Next if, and we just yield. If block given, man, that's weird. Block stream chunk, handle stream. Why wouldn't the block be given though? That's insane. I think if we stream and the block is not given, we should just. I mean, we should just probably return the enumerator. But that's fine. Method has too many lines. Jesus Christ. No, not on my watch. We're gonna go to Ruba. Ruba. Where's it called? Ruba cop. Disable. Man, I probably can do it myself, but method length. This is just infuriating. This is an easy to understand code. And yeah, that's fine. We're gonna pass the block, we're gonna pass the block, and we're gonna pass the block, and we're gonna yield. And the block will be given. There's just no way the block is not given. Like, we should just fail if it's not the case. And then we do this with data. If event empty, if done, I don't know if this is the right way to do it. I think there's like one edge case where you strip the data and the string is empty and you try to parse it. I think this is where it might bite, but with split chunks should be like R streaming. Let me see. So stack ID, da, da, da. We'll see. Okay. So now at this point, this is looking okay. Let me start it so that I don't see that. Okay. Now this is looking great. So our library is looking good. So if we go to our README, we have this example. It should just probably work. So what if I don't configure it though? Like one LLM. What if I don't do the configuration? It should still take. It should still. Oh, let me find the configuration. It should still take the environment variable, right? Yes. Yes. Should take the environment variable, and then the validation will fail. So in this case, I do have OpenAI API key, and it should just work. So this should just kind of work, this example, right? And let me see, do I have a bin console? Okay, so I do have bin console, so that's something. Mismatch for class, superclass, 1LM, 1LM. Why did I mismatch? Oh, wait, 1LM. Should I call it 1LM like one word? Yeah, I think this is what we're getting. Oof. Let's try to fix that. CF dun, 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 and then 1LLM. I'm gonna call it 1LLM G npm and save it. Go through every file. 1LLM. Okay, now if I do RG1 LLM, oh wait. I don't have that. That's good. Now I need to rename the dir itself. Move 1LLM, 1LLM. Okay, now if I try it again, but then with this 1LLM. Oh, not in code. 1LLM, G1LLM, and then we do the hidden files. Not RM. Jesus, what am I doing? RG. Good. Okay, now, and then if, and one thing is one LLM. This should be empty. Okay, one LLM. We have a bunch of files that we need to rename. This is where I like to use my library type dir, and then it's like mmv. This thing is amazing. You just say this, I'll rename it, and then you say file, and then you can rename all the files here as you like in this case, one LLM like this, and then you exit, and all the files are renamed as well. It's called mmv. Amazing library. GitHub mmv. I think it's this one. Give it some love. Amazing library. Use it all the time to rename files. Okay, so this should work. And then if we do this, we have that. Now being console. Still doesn't work so much for configuration. 1LM. Interesting. Okay, but still. What does setup do? Bundle install. Maybe I should do that. Okay, now being console. No. Okay, let's review it. So 1LM leave 1LM. Okay. 1LM. And then what the error is? The error is mismatch of class configuration type error. Line 35. Okay. Wait. Is this our own error that we throw? Interesting. So what was happening? So we have error, standard error, API error. Not sure what's happening here. Wait. What does, let me first see what the console does. Bundler setup, and then one LLM. Okay, and then our ERB, and then we start. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. I don't see any problems here. So if I do bin console, it peppers me. Okay, now I see the line. Okay. Superclass mismatch for class configuration error. Good. So what is our error? What is our standard error? Exception, and then we have our own error, and then we do that, and then we do this, and it doesn't work, which is surprising. So let me do something like this: standard error. Let's do this, and let's do this as well. Let's see if this fixes it. It does. Now this is weird. This should work. And to test this, let me see. One LLM error. Okay, what if I replace it with, wait, this makes no sense. It should actually work. So if I do this, it should work, but it doesn't. What if I do one LLM like this? What? Okay, what if I do class equal class new this thing? Oh, okay, one sec. Already initialized? Do I initialize it in a couple places? Wait. Ah, okay. Now I see what the problem is. Okay. So let me try to remove this problem, class configuration, and now, so what if we do it again? Man, that's a weird ass error. Class mismatch, because it was using a different base class. So when I was trying to define the same class again, but it was a different base, because Ruby doesn't allow multi-class inheritance, it was failing with this kind of error, which is weird, but fine. Okay. Not sure about these errors, by the way, anyway, but yeah, whatever. So now we have our example in README, this one, and it should kind of just work. Although I would like to change it to mini, just don't waste a lot of money. Why, if you don't have to? Console. And then we can do this and find class choices. For method choices for nil class. Okay. So that's something. Because I did not register it, right? So I need to open a provider. I need to register it somewhere. Why wasn't it registered? Wait, choices. Because we don't parse the output, right? So request body. So let's say it's a standard response. We don't stream. And then what do we return? We return handle HTTP response, and this just returns parsed JSON, which is not what we need. We need an object. Okay. Then we have this client error, server error, unexpected error, and a bunch of errors, which is fine. But where do we have them? Client error, raise client error. We don't define them, right? So these errors, only the error exists. The rest of them, like we need to create this client error, whatever this is. Yeah. So let me think. So add to do here. Better error handling. Define error classes. Well, I'm here because this is just the model kind of created the classes, but it mentioned them here, but it haven't created the errors. Now, that means that our example is not working yet, but we can probably fix it by doing. Let me see. So in README, and I think let's say in Ruby, this complete method returns like arrays of hashes with arrays, like plain old hashes and arrays. But this example uses like a chain of objects. How can I convert hashes with arrays and everything to chain of object like this in Ruby very easily, without using Rails and relying on anything, just using plain old Ruby? Think carefully. And I wonder, I think OpenStruct is something that we can just quickly do, but this is just not gonna be cool and hip. Oof, no. Okay, let me just do like a simple wrapper around OpenAI. So response, this is a response. Yeah, this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go to OpenLLM, we're gonna go here, and we're gonna go and I'm gonna add this. We're gonna open chat, and we're gonna open, let's say, client. We're gonna add it here as well. I'll give it the example of the response, right? And I'll ask it to create. This is an example response. Well, actually, I do have it in here, right? Yeah, so I don't need to add it, which is better, which is even better. So based on the example response provided, I want you to create like a, wait, what do I want? I want you to objectify the response. Define a series of objects that will simply convert JSON like hashes and arrays to proper objects. Obviously keep the arrays, but the hashes should be will be objects. Think carefully. Yeah, I think that's fine. And I'll do a response. I'll create this, initialize, create a model, blah, blah, blah. All of this, system fingerprint, a lot of this, to age. I didn't ask that, but that's fine. Choices. Okay. Initialize attributes to age. Okay, so one thing that I'm not sure about is how do I, okay, so I give it, okay, and then it does everything by itself. Okay, which is good. So now we'll have this, we'll add the response there somewhere, and then bam, flash provides a clean object. Oh, there's one mismatch. It didn't replace something. And what exactly did not replace? Search. This one, right? Interesting. What's wrong with this example? Let me go to the client. So I tried to replace this, but I couldn't. I'm not sure why. Is this the bug in my plugin? No, it's not a bug in my plugin. It forgot that it's indented, right? Like this. So this should be like this, and this should be also with like indentation and stuff. And I think if I apply it again, it'll be just applied just nicely. Okay. So complete and then response, new response, and then we give it the response, right? Awesome. Attributes, a decreated model. I have no idea if this would even work. I mean, it looks plausible. Not sure that this is something that I would actually want to do, but hey, better to have an object than not to. And I think that's fine. That's fine. Okay, now let's try another example again. So we have it in the console, right? So we're gonna restart the console, and we're gonna repeat Anthropic API key. We don't have that, sure. Okay, so let's go to our configuration. Let's check the validation. Neil and Neil. If yeah, do I have an Anthropic API key? I think I do have some Anthropic API key, and this kind of makes it so that it's probably like this, and it's invalid, right? And this should be valid again, I think. I don't even know where it gets it from. To be honest, let's just comment it out. I think we need this at this point. Just ignore. And okay, so we can go again. We'll go here. We complete. Response. No bueno. Client error. So initialize constant while open provider client error. Why did it raise it? Response code, response body. Expand initialize context error. Okay, so something went wrong. OpenAI providers 125. Okay, good. So I saw that. Providers. but 135, right? Wait, 35. Wait, which line? 125, okay. 125, unexpected error, because it tried to raise the client error or something? Client error, yeah, so it triggered it in on line 34 here, probably, or like 93 here. I think it was 93 here, right? So 93, it's our client error, HTTP client error, okay. So response was not successful. HTTP success was HTTP client error. And because we don't have client there, we don't know exactly what to do. So this is where the problem with this. Uh, it's funny. So we need to define better errors and better error handling, basically. And for this, we need to go to our here, and where we have errors, and we just call it API error, I guess. I'm gonna replace it with just API errors. So if we go erase, it's going to be API error. It's going to be API error. Server error is like whatever. I'm gonna decide later. That's fine. I have what to do here. So we just want to see the problem, what the problem is, and let's restart. Okay. So something is wrong, but what exactly is hard to tell. Invalid model ID, invalid request error, null, null. Okay, model ID is invalid because I think we're giving it the model ID with the prefix, right? So because our example here has this prefix, do I strip this prefix or not? Good question. Now let's review it. OpenAI provider ID. I deleted that, right? Because it's here now. And then the completion, we have model, validate inputs, but we call it from the client here. And the client takes the model, it gets the provider. Yeah, but we need to strip the provider here. Sure. So get provider. So we need to do this thing, right? Same thing here. It's kind of like add empty line after. Okay, I can agree with that. So here we can fix it by doing model. It's like model split slash and then last, and that's it. I mean, not technically last, one and everything after it, or we can just remove the prefix, but it's fine. Okay, so this should be working now. So if we do that, we do that, we do this. So we got something, we got a response. Let's take a look. Come on, up, 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 up. Messages. Okay, so let's see. We have choices? No. Do we have response? We do. Do we have to JSON, to H, right? Everything is nil. Yeah, so our response conversion thing doesn't really work. And I see everything as empty, which indicates that it doesn't work at all. And we can just test it quite easily by doing this instead. And then we can check it later, right? So whatever the hell happens there. And so we know that every client should return the valid response. So here, when we return the response, handle HTTP request, handle HTTP response. Wait, what do we do here? Okay, here, and then we just parse. Okay, so this should be just JSON. So if we restart now, we do the same example again, and this should just be JSON. It should work. Okay, response. How are you? Okay, we have this response, right? But for some reason, when we pass it to our response, it doesn't work. And we can actually test this by one. Let's take a look at the response file. What does it do? So the first thing so it reads symbols, not strings, right? So we can just tell LLM to fix it everywhere. Symbols must be strings, obviously, because we're parsing JSON. And to be honest, I'll prefer if you would have a method called, no. There is a problem with this file. All keys should be strings, not symbols. Can you fix that? Think carefully. Actually, I think I want to allow both. The keys can be either strings or symbols. Usually when parsing JSON, the strings are actually, I think I can symbolize keys, right? And when I'm parsing JSON, I have like this JSON parse. I think there is like a JSON. Do I have a docs here? I don't have docs. Come on. JSON parse Ruby symbolize keys. I think there is a way to do it. And symbolize names. Yes, 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 yes. This bad boy. This is what I'm looking for. Yeah, I think I can just do this. Should be fine. Symbolize names. Yes, 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 yes. Process stream chunk. Same thing here. I would like to symbolize all the names, and I think it's going to be fixed. So whenever I parse, okay, what about JSON parse? I think it's just two examples, right? Okay, good. Just two places. I think this should kind of fix it, and we can probably do this like this and see if it works. So we're going to start this example. I'm going to do it again. Ooh la la. So now if I repeat my final wish, which is this line, that should just work. It works. Amazing. So we've done the first example of the request, which is good. It works. So we're going to say feed OpenAI OpenAI text in plus text out, no streaming. Good. This is the first example. Now we can do the streaming example now. I think we're ready to try. Before we do that, I would actually like to write our test. So if you go to OpenAI provider, I have this command called ctest that will kind of create label. Okay, so it didn't create it in the right place, unfortunately, because I'm not in the Rails project. Man, I'm in the lib, right? Yeah, but I think I can move it. Okay, so lib 1LM providers. Okay. Yeah, just remove it. So where do I create it? So I go to spec, and then this is my library, right? So yeah, so lib providers will open AI. Is this one word? I think it was one word. Provider spec.rb. I think that was it. OpenAI provider spec. Should be lib though. Good question. Lib1LLM and then providers. Man, I think I'm gonna simplify this path. This is like too mouthful. So I'm gonna just do this and call it a day. I'm not gonna have lib in my path. It's just torturous. Spec providers OpenAI. Provider. 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 Okay. It's not gonna work, but that's fine. OpenAI provider. Okay, this is looking good. And we'll create a test for this. And the test will be very simple. I'll just give it this and tell it that it should work. Spec. So we'll add to do, we'll add this, and we'll go to the provider itself. We'll add this, and then we'll go to the client. We'll add this, and then we'll say, I want you to add tests for the OpenAI provider. Here's an example of how you should call it below. Here's an example of a working call to the API. I don't want you to mock anything, so you should hit the actual API. Think of edge cases, different should write tests in RSpec, of course. I want you to plan thoroughly before you write anything. So think very carefully. Use best practices and standards in RSpec and keep the tests simple. Okay, we're gonna use let's, we're gonna use that, group test for functionality, thinking. I'll provide this. Let's looking at that. Let's review the test file spec. Okay, describe, block, too many lines, block, metric block, too many lines. What else? Man, that's fine. How can I disable it for RSpec tests? We're gonna go to Rubo cop, and we're gonna ask it to, can you disable the above specs? Can you disable the above linters for RSpec tests, and think about other linters that can also be disabled and commonly disabled for RSpec tests. So I'll just go to address, example length, multiple expectations, nested groups, description. I'm not sure if I want those, but we can always fix it later. RSpec, spec specific metrics, example length, multiple expectations, nested groups, scale class. Yeah, that's fine. Fine by me. Okay, so let's review it. So we'll use GPT-4o mini. We'll go describe a new class, role, how are you, OpenAI. So for some reason, okay, unless OpenAI set was like do skip. Oh, that's good. That's interesting. I haven't thought about that. That's a good, nice touch. And then you do this. I actually don't need to configure it. It'll just work. So I'm not sure. Oh, wait. It did not disable this. Block length. Block length exclude spec. Oh, because I need to restart the, yeah. Stupid length server. I mean, understandable. Better than you need to restart it. That's fine. So valid model, valid messages. So we have this. Valid model before already. Okay. Yield streaming chunks to be an array, not to be empty. First choices was valid, invalid inputs. And then we're like giving empty model, valid messages. So when we're initializing the provider, are we using our, are we using our provider? Oh, okay, so like that. I see. OpenAI. So the input expects us to give config, right? Just the config. Because we'll only at this point we know the registry, and the model name is going to be just a model name for this provider. It's not going to be like the model name with provider. Although, yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah. That's good. Let me focus on non-streaming because that was valid inputs. I think this was valid inputs is like stupid. Like very stupid. It's just, and that's it. Oh my god, what happened? Why it froze for so long? Neovim, come on. This link server. Yield streaming chunks. Okay, stream through. This is just better. Like, you don't need context for that. With invalid inputs. Okay. Do I actually want that message cannot be empty? Valid messages, message role user. Each message must have a role and content. Oh, that's a good addition. With API errors, invalid key, and that was a client error. Yeah, that's actually an okay test, like a very basic test. And we can probably run it now. Yield streaming chunks, so choices first content to be a string. This is it wrong though? I'm not sure it's wrong. It's probably not wrong because we return JSON here, right? And we need to return the valid OpenAI JSON. All right, so that's all good. Now let me just run this first example and see if it works. So I will just run it like this. Ooh, man, RS. Why doesn't work. Okay, RF, it doesn't work. Okay, it works, but it doesn't. Wrong number of arguments. Oh man. Let me just run it manually. I don't know what happens in my new Vim. I haven't set up it for this project yet. So line 20. Okay, let's just do line 20. No such file. Oh, I see what the problem is. Yeah. I have an alias that doesn't work. So initialize config, and then what do we initialize it with in our test? Line 6. Yeah, it's not gonna work. So we need config, right? Because did I give it provider? I don't think I gave it provider. Yeah, so now we're like 1LM config. Yeah, this is what we want. This is what we want. And then the model GB4L mini, this is what we're gonna give it, and this should work. So now, what is my, wait, telescope maps, key maps, uh, space, R, F, run nearest test. I changed it recently. Method config 1LM. Okay, so because 1LM, it's configuration, right? Configuration, yeah. It's configuration, not config. Why is it configuration, not config? Like, config makes more sense to me. And success, great success. So this test was successful, although we're not checking much. We're just checking that it just works. And it's a string, and it's not tempting, which is fine. Streaming chance is not gonna work, right? Because we haven't implemented it yet, okay? Was invalid. So the model cannot be empty. Well, I saw the error, but I'm like, unexpected error, model cannot be empty. God, 1LM error. Oh, it says argument error. In our case, we're giving it what? Unexpected error, 1LM error, right? Okay. Should it be argument error? I think it should be argument error. Actually, OpenAI provider. Do we test that? Validated inputs. I like that. Man, it thought about it a lot. Argument error model cannot be empty. Argument error. There is argument error. Amazing. Wait. So we do have that. So why is it saying the error? Sim empty. Wait. What are we expecting then? Trace error. Model can be empty. And then what error are we getting? Oh man, I need to fix this. This is annoying. The way it works. I cannot scroll my tests. Oh, actually, I can just paste them here, which is not going to be very beautiful, but still. So open a provider. Yeah, I can just, do something like this. And I'll at least look better. I need to fix that in my Neovim configuration that I recently changed. This is what happens with Neovim when you just meddle with things. They just suddenly start to break. So the error was we expected this. We got this unexpected error. Model cannot be empty. Because we wrap the errors. I see. And we need to remove that wrapping of errors. And that happens OpenAI provider here, right? Rescue, handle error. Yeah, so we don't want to do that. We don't. And I think this is a standard error. Yeah. So with rescue, let's say, argument there, we just raise. We don't want to do anything with it. And then standard error, yeah, we handle that. I think this should fix it, right? Let's just rerun the test. Yeah, it fixed it. Not the most beautiful solution, but it fixes the test. Let's move on. And raise an error for empty messages. So this should also work now. Yes. Reserve for invalid message format. This should also be it. Good. And then invalid key. This should kind of hit the API, but okay. one LM API refuse message client error, got error, unexpected error. Yeah. So this is where we kind of want to do this like one LM error, and we'll just re-raise it, and then for anything else we do this bullcrap. And then this should work. If I rerun it, it did not. Client error. Oh man. Anyway, I can fix it later. I gotta go. This is good effort. I'm gonna commit this as a draft. I'm not gonna push it. Well, not actually. Tests for OpenAI provider. And then the thing is, we can then use these tests for the rest of the providers and kind of reuse them. I'll create shared example. I'm just going to be including this example everywhere and changing the model basically. And the idea is that every model that we add should have these tests green, right? And if they're not, then we're having a problem. And I'll add a bunch of edge cases to test this. Obviously, we'll make sure that we're not spending too much money when testing these LLMs, but to be honest, like with these simple tests, it's more about it's not going to be too expensive. I don't expect that. So that's it. We almost finished the OpenAI first. Very basic text-to-text output with native HTTP with this library. It's been a lot of time. I spent a lot of time just figuring it out. And to be honest, at some point, I was thinking that maybe DeepSeek is not that great of a model, although it came up with a very beautiful interface, but it fumbled in some examples, like it produced some very basic errors and problems. It's not that Sonnet is flawless, but I think I'm seeing more errors with DeepSeek rather than Sonnet. But at the same time, Sonnet is kind of slower than this model. I'm on the fence whether I prefer slightly more errors, but much faster model versus fewer errors but kind of slower model, which is an interesting debate for the future. Well, I will definitely be using DeepSeek for myself because of the price as well. The price is like 10 times cheaper than Sonnet, or maybe even 20 times. I don't remember how much, but it was like the number is just stupid to ignore. So DeepSeek is a workable model, and Ruby is not the most popular language out there. So the fact that it works so well with Ruby is actually surprising. So hope that you liked it. If you did, follow me, subscribe, stuff like that. On to the next one. Now I need to stop the stream. Kind of embarrassing. But anyway, bye-bye.